Hi there, I'm Mary Brune and I'm the instructor of Essentials of Game Design. And this is going to be the first in a series of videos that you will watch that will be posted to the course website essentialsofgamedesign.com, where you should watch them prior to class to help inform the discussions that we'll be having in class and support the class activities that you'll be engaged in. So I hope you're super excited to be in this class. I'm really excited to be teaching it to you all. And the first thing that I want to do is walk you through the course website so that you have a sense of what's available there and how you can submit assignments and get resources. So the first thing that we want to do is go to the website, essentialsofgamedesign.com, and this website is password protected in the majority of the pages. So if you go over to the menu here, you will be able to access this welcome page without putting in the password, the about the instructor page, and all the other bits of this page are password protected. And you received the password in email when you received the welcome email to this class. So if you no longer have the password, or you didn't receive it, or you lost the password, please email me at marybruneca@gmail.com and I will make sure that you get the password. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to know about this website, let me just make sure that this is all in line so that you can see it here. So there's the an overview of what the course contains along with the objectives here. So I'd like you to take the opportunity to read through this website before the first class, and if you have any questions you can email me or just bring them to class and we'll discuss it. I'm just trying to avoid having to go through the website page by page in class. We have a lot to accomplish in the 8 weeks, and so I really want to devote the majority of the class time to group discussion, activities, and hands-on game design tasks. So along those lines, let me just show you a little bit of an overview of what the course will contain. So the first week we'll be going over sort of the course policies and expectations and the processes that we'll be using to get the work done in class and communicate with one another. While the class does meet weekly in person for 90 minutes, a lot of the new knowledge acquisition is done at home via the website and the discussion forum, and I'll go over a little bit more about that, how that will work in a little bit. So this model that I've just described is called a flipped classroom model, and some of you may be familiar with this in your own school. A lot of classes starting to implement blended learning, flipped learning models in the core curriculum. So the way it will work is every week I will be posting, and every week has a dedicated course content page on this website. I will be posting a video, a little excerpt or overview of what that week is about to set some context for you, and then I'll be including a video like this one that you would watch prior to the class meeting. And then in addition to this video that sort of introduces the topic that we'll be discussing and working on in class, there also will be other video resources in addition to some readings that I'd like you to do at home prior to coming into class. And even though this is an after-school course and isn't graded, there will be some short quizzes and assessments and activities just to sort of test your knowledge to make sure that you're acquiring the knowledge that we're teaching in the class that we're going over. So let's take a look at the website here. So of course this is the introduction week, and then next week we'll be diving into our first real game design topic, and that's game analysis. And so during that week we'll talk about the sort of qualities of a game, how to distinguish a game from a non-game, like puzzles, for example, and all the different elements that you typically find in games, and how you can ensure that your game is fun and engaging to play and has the right balance of challenge for your players. So that's what we'll learn about in game analysis, and that'll be the first week. And yes, you will spend a good amount of time during that first class playing games in order to look at them with a critical eye and being able to provide feedback about the gameplay experience, and we'll get more into that during the week 2 video introduction. Week 3 is about storytelling in games. Not every game has a very obvious story component to it, but some of the more compelling games that you probably would love to play have at least some element of story. And so we're going to be doing a deep dive in storytelling, coming up with our own ideas for stories, working in groups, and that'll be a fun assignment, a fun set of assignments on that day. And next we're going to take a look at some of the art that you see in games. And while we won't be diving too much into sort of 3D game art, we will be touching on 2D game and pixel art, and some techniques for how to create that. And we'll actually be creating some of our own during those lessons. Next, we're going to look at how to create a prototype of your game that you can actually play in class with your classmates. And this, we're not yet going to be at the stage where you're going to be doing a digital prototype of your game. We're talking about with Legos and pieces of paper and dice or whatever, materials that we have available in the classroom. And I will bring lots of materials that we can use to create a playable prototype. And so that's going to be a lot of fun, and that will definitely reveal some, it'll through the experience of playtesting, you'll get a sense of sort of what aspects of your game are great and which ones might need some improvement. And then after the next week, so week 6, we'll be going into learning more about the digital tools available for creating games online. There are a number of tools that you can use, some of which you may be familiar with, like Scratch, or Tinker, or Stencil, or Flash. There are a lot of tools out there that are available. While we won't be doing a deep dive into all the tools, we will be giving an overview, and you'll have a part in doing some of that collaborative research with other class members into the types of tools, the right platforms, the output for those tools. And as you, throughout the class, build your own game idea and you start to construct that game, during that week you'll start to get a sense of what the right tool is for you to ultimately be pursuing in terms of what you'd like to see and how you'd like to develop the game idea that you're creating in this course. So so the first 6 weeks we're learning about game theory, we're learning about types of games and game mechanics and story and art and how to create a prototype and and the tools for development. And then in the 7th week, of course, let me go to that week of the class and logging in. So the 7th week of the class is when we're going to be working on what you might call a game pitch. So if you were an indie game designer and you were creating your own game, at the end you would be able to create sort of a snapshot of your game so that you could pitch that to a game company or show that as a portfolio piece, whatever you want to do, or just have something that you could present to others to communicate what your game vision is, and in order to get feedback or to persuade someone to pursue making that game. So during the 7th week, we're going to be finishing up some of the coding activities that we're doing from the previous week. And then what we'll be doing is working on presentations with our class members and doing a Google slide presentation that we will sort of share and get feedback on. So, and then the final week of class, we will be presenting our work in a showcase. So you'll have the opportunity to invite friends and family to come to the course, and if they're available, and present your work, your game ideas to your friends and family. So that's sort of an overview of the course contents. So now I want to give you an idea of the structure of the class. So as befits a course on game design, the course itself is gamified. And if you're familiar with activities where you receive points or you receive toward earning different badges, that's the idea behind this class. So everything in this class has some sort of point value associated with it. So anytime you read or watch a video like this one, there'll be a quiz after, a very short quiz that will have points associated with it. So pay attention so that you can earn the highest number of points that are available. And each week, I was going to go to one of the classes, for example. So each week there will be a number of points available. And for example, during this week, we're going to be doing quite a bit of work, and there are a potential of 3,200 completion points at stake. So completion points are whenever you finish something, as the name implies. When you've completed something, when you've done something, there's a point value associated with it. And whether you get 100 points or 500 points or 1,000 points for something will be spelled out on the weekly website. It'll be indicated there what the value is for that particular assignment. So for example, gameplay experience survey. As I said, the first week of class, we'll be playing several games, and then after we've had a dive into the various game elements, you'll be doing an analysis of those games, and you'll also be sort of just submitting a survey through Google Forms about your experience playing that game, so we can start to sort of view games a little bit more critically than we might do right now. And so that particular one, you'll be playing 3 games in class, and they each have a point value of 500 for completing them. And there is a rubric in the form itself that sort of spells out what you would need to do and submit in order to achieve the highest point value on that assignment. So there are points at stake here. So there are individual points that you can earn, the completion points for the work that you do yourself, and there will be a fair amount of collaborative work in the class. And rather than just grouping students, pairing people up or grouping them, we're sort of using the gamification terminology of guild, if you're familiar with that, to sort of group kids together, students together. And so you will be competing not only as individuals against other course members to get the highest score on the leaderboard, but you'll be also be competing as a guild against other guilds to see which guild has the highest leaderboard score. So now that I've mentioned leaderboard, let's actually go take a look at what that is. Okay, so the leaderboard, it's basically a Google Sheet that has, it enables me to input all the points that you receive for the various assignments that you complete. And so those are all reflected here, and these are just some sample students. And one of the first things that you'll be doing in class, that it's an assignment listed for this week in the course, is to fill out the form where you choose your player name. So once you have chosen your player name, I will input that into the sheet, and it'll be reflected here so that all of the players will be listed here by their player name, not your actual name. So there's a little bit of anonymity there, and you can choose whatever name you want. Hopefully 2 people won't select the same name. If you do, we'll have to figure out something to do about that. But this is this number up here represents, and this may change based on the content of the course, but this is the possible number of points that are available to get in the class if you go all the way through and you complete all the assignments. This is sort of the highest, the gold standard of what you're shooting for. And then these are the points that each individual student has received. And then those points translate into a particular level in the class, and those levels are represented here.